All right, everyone, welcome to another video for How to Play Paintball. You guys already know where you're at. What I wanted to do was go over what we had done at the clinic. So we had a pro clinic here in Central Florida at Central Florida Paintball. If you want a more detailed breakdown, I'm going to go through every single drill that we did and kind of some little tips and tricks for them. You're going to have to go over to patreon.com/howtoplaypaintball and be at least a Cinco support, which means that you have at least $5 pledge. So if you want to look a little bit deeper into some of these drills, you'll have to go over and do that. You should be able to get a good idea from the explanations that I'm going to be doing here, but if you want to have even more of a breakdown, you'll have to check out the Patreon there. So let's jump into how we started off the clinic. So, of course, starting off with some light stretching, starting off with some warm-ups. So this wasn't all of them. This is just one that I wanted to show you. So it's just kind of a side step. There were some others. You can also do some kind of whatever it is that you would like to do. This is just one of the warm-ups that we had done. And then right after that, we went into a sliding drill. So there were more cones, but basically you had to slide going into it and then try to stop yourself and then slide back. So they would do a couple reps of this, and then we're going to go ahead and do a Superman dive going into, or I'm sorry, underneath a couple of, not necessarily cones, I'm not really sure how to describe them, sticks, something like that. So if there was someone that needed a little bit more help, then we would grab them, move them off to the side, and assist them. So then we got into the actual drills themselves. So what this drill was, there was 3 different stations: a snap shooting, laning, and a running gun. So with this one, they had to go ahead and shoot a target 5 times as quickly as possible, and we had someone timing them. So this one was more based off the speed and of course accuracy, but this one was focusing more on that. So they had to try to snap out as fast as they could, shoot the target 5 times, and then we would stop the timer, give them their time, then they were going to try to go back and break that time. And then after that, they would go to another station where they were actually going to be doing another form of snap shooting. But then we basically had a pro player at each station. So you can see Charlie here helping out with the laning. So just helping out with form, helping out with things like that. So there was 2 different targets they'd be shooting at. So kind of a escalation basically as you would continue on with the actual drill itself. And the last station was a running gun. So there were 2 different drills. Like I had said, each of these basically had 2 different drills that we were doing. And they had to run down the snake and shoot a target as they were going. And then there was another one where it was like a 3-ball kind of a shot. Now, this was a 3-on-5. So basically they had to, I think we had it where it was a minute, and the 3 didn't necessarily have to move. So this was a drill that was going to help with communication, wasn't going to use a lot of paint. So the 5 needed to figure out how to shut down, move up to eliminate the 3. The 3 were trying to shut down the 5 from actually getting down the field, so that way they'd be able to win, right? So the 3 just had to hold, or they could try to win the point. So it was really up to them. But both sides really have to work on communication. One is figuring out how to lock everything down, and the other one was trying to figure out how do we close this point out if we are up a body. So this was good actually because we had some players that were on the same team, so this was helping them out even more with their communication. But we did mix them up as the day went on. So this is just a showing of the 5. So the 5 had to, again, they just had to close it out. So I just want to show you an angle this way. Some of these, like I said, they actually did play together. So their communication is going to be a little bit better because they've been playing together longer. But we did mix up the players. Throughout this whole clinic, we actually did have it where myself and 3 other of the players on the ML Kings were there to assist players, because a lot of paintball, like I've talked about in other videos, is all a game of inches. So if you can get that little bit of an advantage, it's going to be ideal. Now this was a 5-on-5 that we had done, but 2 of the players didn't have guns. So they were allowed to hold their gun if they wanted to, but they were basically there to communicate. So this is just a drill of communication. This is like strictly that. Now you can see this player ended up being able to get all the way up and was looking at another player that that one in the green, his gun, he wasn't allowed to use it. He just wanted to go out and still hold his gun while he was playing, which is fine. So basically, the two bodies on each side that didn't have a gun, their whole job was to communicate or cause an issue. I mean, you can see he got all the way down into their snake one and was able to kind of cause some issues, which you'll see in a second, because he looks over, realizes that the other player is looking the other way, and takes off, and is actually able to go and hit the buzzer. So he was actually able to get that point. So props to them. This was a 3-on-3, but we basically had it where the players weren't allowed to use the snake side of the field. So the snake and the actual snake corner you couldn't use. So it was like basically 80% of the field was usable. But this one, you really wanted to focus in on that attacker role, the support role, and then kind of that kind of floater role, essentially. So trying to help out with the different players to figure out how is it that I can adapt. Because throughout the match, throughout the point, you might have it where you aren't able to have all of your bodies alive, and you go from being an attacker to being a that's what I meant was containment, support, and attacker. So that way you're able to do your job effectively, and everyone on the team needs to be able to do the same as well. So of course this one's going to be helping in communication also, but yeah, you just had to figure out how to close it out. Now we did have another caveat where the Dorito side needed to win. It couldn't be one through the center, it couldn't be one somewhere else. You had to win through the Dorito side. So you had to figure out a way, how do I push my attacker up to make it where that Dorito player can actually get up the field and eliminate out the other team. And we did have it also where they needed to hit the box, because that's something, I mean, yeah, it's something that a lot of players don't do, is work on that. Like, they finish the point and that's it. Sometimes you're coming down to the wire, and you need to have it where you've practiced that you need to hit the buzzer. So doing that and finishing off a point that way is really smart. So that way it becomes second nature. So this is another point that I had here that I recorded. So this player moving up on the center, it was a good move, but again, we made it where you had to win through the Dorito side. So him going up the center wasn't bad, because he can still help out his Dorito player to help him move up, continue moving up the field to win on that side. And this layout was actually, I think it was Harris Hussein's from NYX had put this one up, which he said was the best field ever created, which I don't know about that. It wasn't a bad field, but yeah. It's just another 3-on-3 that we had here. So again, the whole idea was that they had to win through the Dorito side, they had to still communicate, and they had to figure out, okay, what's my role right now? So that way they were able to finish out the point and be able to go and hit the buzzer. So again, we had it where you had to hit the buzzer, because this is something that, and I'll admit, there's times that I'll finish out a point at practice and I'm just done, walk off, talk to my teammates. But you really should be practicing hitting that buzzer, making it so that it becomes second nature, so that way you're able to basically, yeah, you want to win, right? So you have to score those points. With this, you also wanted to work on the communication, like I had mentioned before. And basically, with communication, it's not just the guy is here; it's this guy's here and shooting this way, or I'm looking this way, stuff like that. So that's the kind of stuff that you wanted to work on in this particular drill. So once the last player was eliminated, again, you still had to run over and hit the buzzer. So it's pretty good hustle to finish out that point. And then we ended off the day actually with some one-on-ones. So the player actually here that I'm filming won the one-on-ones. He actually ended up winning some Virtue Vios. And so, yeah, congrats to him. And, yeah, so basically the one-on-ones, it was a single elimination, so they had to go and fight. The last two ended up trading 2 times in a row. So, yeah, it was really good. So one-on-ones are just going to be good in general, just to help you out with field awareness and figuring out what you need to do. And then afterwards, we still had some time, so I wanted to get out and play. So ultimately, yeah, I just ended up going and wanted to get out to the field and play. Got to play against some of my teammates like we usually do on the weekend, and just go and have some fun. So that was the clinic, everyone. I thank you so much for those that came out. I know some of you watch the channel, so thank you so much for that. Thank you for all the support. Again, if you want to see more of a detailed breakdown of what exactly you want to be looking out for, you're going to want to check out patreon.com/howtoplaypaintball. Again, it's only going to be Cinco support and above that are going to be able to see that. So there's going to be like a password basically that you have to put into to Vimeo, and it's only going to be for my Patreon. But at least this is something that you guys can see what was it in a pro clinic that we had done. And if you did miss out on it, it's okay. We are going to have more. But thank you so much for watching. Again, a huge thank you to those that came out to the clinic. And hopefully we'll see you at the next one. But as always, guys, remember, watch, learn, win. Thanks.